Hi, I'm Jeremy, and today we're going to look at the fourth game in my review series of the Spiel Jahres winners. That is the German game of the year. And today we're going to look at Enchanted Forest, which is the 1982 winner of the award. This game is published by Ravensburger, and I believe it's been in print pretty much ever since it won the award. And it plays from 2 to 6 players in about 30 minutes or so. And the box says ages 6 and up, but I know that you could go younger than that. Usually 4 or 5 I think would be sufficient to play this game. It's simply a memory and bluffing game where players are going to be moving all around a forest, trying to discover treasures, and then racing to a castle when the treasure that they know the location of comes up on a stack of cards requested by the king. So this is a game that is very simple to play. It's definitely more of a children's game than a family game. But I'll take a minute to show you how it works, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so here we have a board set up for Enchanted Forest, and at the start of the game, each player, and it plays up to 6, from 2 to 6 players, will get a pawn, which will start here in this village area, and the rest of the board is going to depict the kingdom, which has a number of these trees placed upon it, each of which on the other side has a treasure. And the goal of the game is to identify where these various treasures are, and as the king requests them, which will be indicated by the top card of this stack of cards, you want to go to this space near the castle with this key, and when you're on that space you'll be able to check a tree, see if it matches the treasure that's being requested, and if it is, you will claim this card. The first player to claim 3 cards will be the winner. So the way that the game is going to work is that starting with the start player, and you'll roll to see who goes first. You'll just roll both dice, and then you essentially get 2 different moves with these dice. So here I've rolled a 4 and a 1. Let's say I'm the purple pawn. I would be able to go 5 spaces, but I could do that as 2 separate moves. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then the next player would simply go. And they got a 5 and a 4. And if they went and took their 5 first, they would land on me, which would immediately send me home, and then they would be able to take their 4. And the idea is that they're trying to get, by exact count, onto these blue spaces on the board, which are essentially next to each of these trees. So this player got 2, so there we go, 1, 2. And you can see that there's some definite dice luck in this game. Sometimes you'll roll poorly, sometimes you'll roll badly. So here I've gotten a 6 and a 5, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces from this tree. So what I could do is essentially go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see this is a good game for kids who are just learning to count, certainly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could go 5 here. Look at this tree. I see it's a fire. And then I could, so I've used my 5 die, and then I could use my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's a lot of this when you're playing, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I could go here and look at this tree. And so eventually you're going to find the item that is depicted on that card. And then at that point, or you might want to just keep looking at trees while you're out here, you'll be able to head to the kingdom, or to the castle. So once I got there, if I wanted to, I could guess at a tree. I could see if it matches. If it doesn't match, I'll simply remain on this space, and then my next turn I'll be able to guess another tree. Eventually, if I get it right, oh, there it is. So if I get it right, then I will claim that card, and the game says to return that tree. Often we'll just play that you remove that tree just to make the game move more quickly. And then, like I said, the first person to claim 3 of these will win. One other thing that happens in this game is that you can roll doubles. Let's see, well, I'm not going to roll doubles on demand, but if you roll doubles, you have the option to teleport to any space to look at a tree. You could also teleport to this horseshoe space, which just puts you next to the castle, or, and there'll always be a card here flipped up, you could simply reshuffle that card into the deck and then flip up a new card. So those are the 3 options if you roll doubles. If ever this player is landed on just like any other space, they would be sent home, which means that, you would have to track all the way back to the castle in order to begin guessing again. And those are really all the rules to Enchanted Forest. The first player to claim or to bring 3 of the requested treasures to the king will become the new heir of the kingdom. Alright, so that is Enchanted Forest, and I think that by 1982 standards, this game has a beautiful production, has great components, and the game is pretty much being produced now, much like it was back in 1982. I think they've slightly made the art more cartoony, but it was always a pretty game, and it's still a pretty game by today's standards. The game is a little bit simple by adult standards, certainly, and I think as, Spiel des Jahres winners goes, this is definitely more of a children's game than a family game, which usually the award is given to family games. Back in 1982, they did not have the Kinderspiel des Jahres prize, which they initiated, I think, in around '89 or so, and this game almost certainly would have won that prize as opposed to the main Game of the Year prize, had that award existed in 1982. The game is still relatively engaging. If you're a parent playing a game with a child, or anybody playing a game with a child, it will hold your attention. There's definite dice luck in it. You can't guarantee that you're going to get the roll that you need, and you could spend many turns just going back and forth next to the castle. That's mitigated somewhat by the dice mechanism, which just essentially gives you 2 different rolls every turn, which you could combine to basically go past the space and then double back and hopefully land on the exact space that you need. But at the same time, that's not necessarily going to happen. Also, I'll note that the game does tend to run a little bit long by children's game standards. It runs about 30 minutes with the way that's played. Sometimes that could go even longer based on dice luck. Again, the variant I suggested, which is essentially after a treasure is discovered, you remove that tree from the map. That just keeps things flowing more fluidly. Otherwise, I think the game, works well for a children's game. I didn't mention it was actually designed by Alex Randolph and Michel Matschoss. I'm sorry for butchering that. But Alex Randolph is one of the great unheralded classic game designers. I think he deserves more of a reputation. He's designed a lot of absolutely amazing games such as Twixt and Raj, and he actually, when they initiated the Kinderspiel des Jahres, the Children's Game of the Year award, he won the first one of those, as well as producing this game, which did win the Spiel des Jahres in 1982. So if this is a design that still skews young, that's not to say it's a bad design. It's just simply something that a lot of adult gamers won't have an interest in. But if you're looking for a game to play with a young child, especially if you're trying to develop memory skills or counting skills, this would be a terrific choice. I think it still holds up well today, and kids seem to really enjoy it. So that is Enchanted Forest, and thanks for watching.